Hello students, today we will discuss the crystal structure also in continuation with the last lecture. So the first topic is single crystal. After stable nuclei have been formed in a solidifying metal, these nuclei grow into crystals. In each solidifying crystal, the atoms are arranged in an essentially regular pattern, but the orientation of each crystal varies. When solidification of the metal is finally completed, the crystals join together in different orientations and form crystal boundaries. Almost all engineering crystalline materials are composed of many crystals and are therefore polycrystalline. However, there are a few that consist of only one crystal and are therefore single crystals. They are called. For example, high temperature creep resistant gas turbine blades are sometimes made of single crystals. Single crystal turbine blades are more creep resistant at high temperature than the same blades made with an equiaxed grain structure or a columnar grain structure, because at high temperatures above about half the absolute melting temperature of a metal, the grain boundaries become weaker than the grain bodies. In growing single crystals, solidification must take place around a single nucleus so that no other crystals are nucleated and grow. To accomplish this, the interface temperature between the solid and liquid must be slightly lower than the melting point of the solid, and the liquid temperature must increase beyond the interface. To achieve the temperature gradient, the latent heat of solidification must be conducted through the solidifying solid crystal. The growth rate of the crystal must be slow so that the temperature at the liquid solid interface is slightly below the melting point. of the solidifying solid. Now we'll discuss about the polycrystalline materials. As I told you at the beginning of this chapter, today, after stable nuclei have been formed in a solidifying metal, these nuclei grow into crystals. In each solidifying crystal, the atoms are arranged in an essentially regular pattern, but the orientation of each crystal varies. When solidification of the metal is finally completed, the crystals join together in different orientations and form crystal boundaries at which changes in orientation take place over a distance of a few atoms. Solidified metal containing many crystals is said to be polycrystalline. The crystals in the solidified metal are called grains, and a surface between them grain boundaries. So these are the number of nucleation sites available to the fusing metal will affect the grain structure of the solid metal produced. If relatively few nucleation sites are available during solidification, a coarse or large grain structure will be produced. If many nucleation sites are available during solidification, a fine grain structure will result. Almost all engineering metals and alloys are cast with a fine grain structure, since this is the most desirable type for strength and uniformity of finished metal products. Now we'll discuss about non-crystalline material. As I told you earlier, that if the atoms or ions of a solid are arranged in a pattern that repeats itself in 3 dimensions, they form a solid that has long range order and is referred to as a crystalline solid or crystalline material. Examples of crystalline materials are metals, alloys, and some ceramic materials. In contrast to crystalline material, there are some materials whose atoms and ions are not arranged in a long range, periodic and repeatable manner, and possess only short range order. This means that order exists only in the immediate neighborhood of an atom or a molecule. As an example, liquid water has, as I told you earlier, liquid water has short range order in its molecules, in which one oxygen atom is covalently bonded to 2 hydrogen atoms. But this order disappears as each molecule is bonded to other molecules through weak secondary bonds in a random manner. Materials with only short range order are classified as amorphous or non-crystalline. A more detailed definition will be discussed later. So, when the bonding is weak, it is known as the non-crystalline. Then we will discuss about the metallic crystal structure. Metallic crystal structure. In this chapter, the principal crystal structure of elemental metals will be discussed in detail. The principal ionic covalent crystal structure that occur in ceramic materials will be treated. Most elemental metals, about 90%, crystallize upon solidification into 3 densely packed crystal structure: body-centered cubic, face-centered cubic, and hexagonal close-packed. The HCl structure is a denser modification of the simple hexagonal crystal structure. Most metals crystallize in these dense packed structures. Because energy is released as the atoms come closer together and bond more tightly with each other. Thus, the densely packed structure are in lower and more stable energy arrangements. Now, if you see this figure, you see the principal metal crystal structure and unit cells. Number A, body-centered cubic. This is body-centered cubic. Number C is the hexagonal close-packed crystal structure, and B is the face-centered cubic structure. The unit cell is shown by solid lines. Now, the extremely small size of the unit cells